What's going on, guys? Eric Black here, Parker Miner over there. We're hanging out here at ROCKCAST. I hope you're having a good week. This should lighten the mood a little bit. We've got some good things going on the show again this week. If you're not familiar with the show, ROCKCASTshow.com, I'm just going to get that out of the way right now. It is what do they call those? Shameless plug?
It's completely shameless.
Not ashamed of that at all. You go to ROCKCASTshow.com and you figure it out. We've got a guest on the show, as you may have guessed.
I see what you did there.
Yeah. Another guest on the show this week that we're actually kind of excited because it's a different. It's the same, but it's different. There's a lot of good stuff we're going to be talking about, so stay tuned. Go get your popcorn. Now would be a good time to go do that. Get your refill. Go potty. Go get that out of the way. I'll hold that the entire time.
Well, we do. We don't get up.
We don't. Well, we have chairs that we can just pee in. It's weird.
That's true.
Anyway, on the show this week, guys, we have JM, and I'm not gonna pronounce your last name because I don't want to do that. So,
I'll let you go with it though. Let me see what you come up with.
All right. So here's okay. So this is the best that I can do. Guarnieri.
It was close.
Guarnieri. Okay.
Yes.
Well, I should have known that. It's spelled that way.
Guarnieri.
Yep. All right.
Yep.
This is a unique situation because now you do security for Shinedown and Smith & Myers as well, but security is your main thing. So give us a breakdown of what you do and how secure ROCKCAST is right now.
Right now, none of us have pants on, so I'm not sure how secure it is on our persons.
It's a little weird.
But yeah, so I am the Chief Operating Officer for Silver Spear Security, and we are a veteran-owned private security firm with offices in Los Angeles, in Orlando, and then I'll be opening one up in Massachusetts, and eventually I'll be doing one in Las Vegas, where we basically our background is with bodyguards, touring security, working with high net worth individuals, estate security, maritime security, red carpets, award show, anything security related. If it's something of interest to us and we can work with the client or the promoter, we're more apt to do it. And actually this past week, we just opened our first training school in Orlando, Florida, where people could get their guard cards and maybe some CCW training classes or some EP, executive protection courses and stuff. So it's been a lot of fun.
Well, and this
really cool.
Yeah, it sounds actually kind of interesting. There's a lot of different variations inside of just regular what we're called security. Because I mean, I don't know, but it sounds like you can't have a boring day. There's so much to do.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that you bring up a good point. Having the boring day when you're working is actually the best day to have.
That's
now, if you're in a cool festival or you're at a cool award show or you're with someone at a cool restaurant, I totally get it. But the minute it gets crazy or there's a bomb threat or an active shooter or something that goes on, medical situation with a bad guy or a person, you get crazy, and I prefer not having to do those days. But that's why you train and kind of practice for that stuff. So
yeah, for sure. So you're at a show, and it doesn't matter the band, but it's a big band. Let's say you're at the show. No, you're with the band. What is your first step to get to the festival or to the venue even?
So ideally, and obviously, if you're overseas, sometimes advancing the bigger festivals are tough just because there's so many bands and there's a lot of pieces of that puzzle. But for a show or whatever, I'm always about 2 months out advancing the stage, the dressing rooms, the distance, if you have to use a golf cart, closest hospital, EMT, where you want security located, what pass system we're using, if you're going to do the festival passes or our own passes for the headliner, how I want the stage before and after our set. If you have pyro, make sure the fire marshal is aware with the stage manager, so that way people placement and stuff. And so all that stuff you do 2 months out. And so by the time the day before, the morning of, you're basically just shaking hands, seeing the staff you know from before, and just working with your crew and the artist, and then knock on wood, there's really been no issues. If you put the time into the advance, that's probably the biggest hurdle and the most work, because you shouldn't be worrying about stuff that you could have taken care of weeks ago.
Right.
Yeah.
So you're saying you have to prep 2 months in advance for every single show.
Right. So if I normally say in the summer I'm with Shinedown or Nickelback or whoever, and hey, we got 45 dates. Well, to about 2 months before that first date, I started advancing with, hey, here's the security rider. This is the numbers I need for staffing. These are the searches I want done at the door. This is the number of people barricade. These are the times for our meet and greets. I'll need security here. So-and-so, I need backstage parking, like all this stuff, or bus parking, all that stuff.
Wow.
Now, I'm fortunate to work with great production managers or stage managers or tour managers, so you all kind of help each other there. But these are all questions, concerns I have before we even step foot there.
Yeah.
And then about a week out, hey, we made it to the town. See you tomorrow. I'll let you know if I have any issues. I'll be on site in X amount of time with my band guys.
Right.
And you kind of just go through the motions that you've already kind of established before that.
Right. Man. That's still like if you have 150 dates, that means you got to make 150 phone calls and keep track of 150.
Oh, I mean, before COVID, I'm on the road. I may be home 50, 60 days a year. The rest of the time is spent advancing, whether you're on tour or other events or cruises, where that holds a whole other gamut of issues. But you just have all this stuff going on where, again, the preparation is key. Just like you guys aren't jumping into a podcast or what you do for work without having an idea of who you're talking to or what you're doing at work the next day. So it only makes sense where I would be just the same way.
Well, and you talked a little bit about the different venues that you have, and one of those was a cruise ship, for example. I mean, I feel like a cruise ship would be, I'm not going to say worst case scenario, but it's like a very unique situation because you're in the middle of the ocean. So, I mean, there's got to be bigger protocol for that situation, right?
There is, and one of the cool things there is that if you guys been on a cruise ship, there's a thing called the brig. And you just don't – the brig is basically the jail in international waters.
Right.
And a lot of people are like, oh, you could put the brig. Well, if you're putting the brig, then more often than not, like this is an incident where when we get back to port, not only will the police be there, the state police or whoever, but there could be the FBI. If there's ever a sexual assault incident on the cruise ship, it could be any type of cruise. The FBI is the first people to be on that boat the next morning when you dock to pull that person off for interview, talk with the victim, get statements, because it's a whole crazy thing. Once you leave the port area, international waters.
Yeah.
Sure, you're not going to run to an iceberg, and these Somali pirates aren't going to come to these waters because it's not that type of situation. Right. But man overboard or woman overboard, there's protocols. There's a lot of work that goes into it. And the cool thing about most of the cruise ships is all the staff on there, like the cooks and the people that clean your rooms or the concierge people, they're all EMTs trained. They all respond to certain radio calls or calls on the boat if there's an incident, a fight, or an injury. And it's kind of cool seeing how they're so adapted to dealing with all sorts of situations on the open water.
So I'm assuming that they, as you do, they have to do training as well just to make sure that they understand.
Yes, they do actually training daily and stuff. Wow. And it's fascinating because it's a lot of times when you get on a cruise ship, if I'm on one, even when I'm working, like, oh, here comes a safety brief. This is where the muster station is. But it's like you and I on a plane. Like I know how to put a seatbelt on, but the back of my mind, I've always turned my music down because maybe I forgot something when it comes to the mask or where the lifeboat is, or hey, make sure you do look at the exit rows because when shit breaks bad, you're gonna lose motor function, basic skills. So there's stuff like that where definitely take heed to it. But yeah, man, it's a job.
I imagine you worked shipwrecked, right? So
yeah, I did that for 5 years.
Yeah. Are there any other rock cruises?
I do Rock Legends cruise.
Okay.
That's usually headliners like Sammy Hagar, Roger Daltrey.
Oh, yeah.
So I just did the Roger one last year, right before COVID, actually.
They asked us to headline, but we turned it down. We didn't want to.
Yeah.
Is that why?
They couldn't pay us enough.
Yeah, I mean, they probably were like, we need a bigger boat.
Yeah. We need more people.
These guys have
right.
So we're going to have to get the big boat. Yeah. Well, let's jump back to like an actual venue. So what I'm saying is venue versus festival. I mean, obviously, if you look at those two things, it's going to be easier to get the artist from their green room or bus to the stage at a venue versus a festival.
100%. This is your show. Now, if you're at a touring venue, you might have a headliner, like direct support, maybe an opener if it's one of those shows. So you're dealing with 3 entities as opposed to a festival. If you're like a Danny Wimmer festival or like Download Festival, like there's hundreds of bands every day, 40 different stages, parking lot, like wherever. And so there's a lot more strain on the staff and security and law enforcement on site. And so I prefer the venue stuff's easy to control. It's our pass system. It's our rules. It's when you get to the bigger festivals, there tends to be some egos with different camps. I'm the headliner of the stage. I want this on my stage. And so customer service is key. Yeah. But yeah, definitely the venue stuff is definitely a lot simpler in that sense. Right.
I mean, even like, here we've got a decent venue called Exit In, things like that, versus like, and that's probably what, 800 Parker, 800 employee capacity.
Yeah, just under 1,000, I think. Yeah.
Versus like, like Bridgestone Arena, where thousands of people. Obviously, now, my thinking is that it'd be maybe a lot more dangerous at Exit In because it's not big, because there's not a lot of places to, hide, is a word.
I can imagine.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's one of those things where when you have the bigger venues, there is this, and I'm not saying this is a bad way, but there's this false sense of security in the sense of you have so many more people working. If you let one guy if someone comes in one door, you're figuring that the next layer of security is going to catch that person. When you get those Exit In type clubs or House of Blues type clubs, it's limited staff, and there's a lot of more situations. There's only one entrance per se, so a lot of times everything kind of bottlenecks right there. There's usually fights, and you're dealing with the drunk, disorderly people. It all comes down to numbers, though. If you're a smaller club, you can't afford to hire the 10 extra security you need that you should have. So that's why you kind of have to do the advancing if you're playing those type of shows where, well, let's move to barricade people here. You need people in front of house. Where are the roamers? Like, can we move people off the door check? If they're checking bags after a certain hour, can they go to the front? Like, so stuff like that where you have to kind of get creative. But yeah, it's definitely more nerve-wracking, especially if you're in a foreign country, in those smaller places where not only do you have the language barrier, but you have this kind of like, oh, nothing's going to happen here because we're in Hamburg, Germany, or we're like, no one thinks like we do. It's not like they don't care about their fans. It's just they never had something happen, so they don't think about it. But you look at Bataclan or Manchester, like this stuff could happen anywhere, Las Vegas. So it's just being prepared is number one there.
So you were in, you're at an arena right now. You're in the back of the arena taking care of something. You just wrapped it up and found out that somebody needs your help behind the stage. How quickly are you going to get from point A to point B?
Now, am I dealing with something like band related or just someone in the
band
crowd?
Related? It's behind. It's backstage.
Yeah, I mean, we all have radios. I'm always direct to everything going on. I hear every radio transmission. I have a house radio. In that sense, I know what the radio traffic is for people in the arena. And so I'm always responding to stuff. If I see an issue with the crowd, I just call the house guy. But hey, we sent a guy stage left, like balcony 3 or whatever. Like there's an incident. If there's someone backstage, I'm never on the guy's side. From the morning they wake up to meet and greets to when they work out, like I'm always within earshot. Now I never really like hanging out in the dressing rooms because I'm just like, that's your role, like whatever. They're never not where I'm not going to be, and that's like a trust thing too, and that's why I'm there. I'm not there to deal with a CPR victim up at the main gates.
Right.
While I care and I want to know on the incident report what happened and what, like, we feel bad if stuff happens to guests and fans, but my responsibility is essentially the band and then the extension of that the crew.
Well, and that's why they have so many staff members, so that they can
correct,
so that you don't have to. Craziest story that you can tell us about. I
was going to ask the same thing.
That you've been a part of. What would that look like?
In terms of probably one of the more chaotic days was in 2016, I believe. I was in the Wembley Arena with Nickelback. sold out show, and that morning there's a bomb threat on the train underneath the arena. And if you've been there, you know the train's underneath the arena and the mall there. Yeah. And so they take it very seriously. And I got we chat up all the guys off the bus. We got to bunker down inside the arena. And the reason why I did that is because where the buses are parked, they're still doing mail deliveries and different stuff like that. So I'm like, well, if this is a bomb threat in the subway possibly, well, I don't know what packages are coming in. I don't know what's in the back of these trucks. So let's bring everyone inside into a harder location. Right. And so as you're working with a promoter or local police, you're kind of like, well, is the show getting pushed back for doors? People can't get in here right now via the train or the boats outside because of the shutdown. What are we going to do here? And so when stuff like that happens, you're kind of it's one of those days where there's a lot of heavy thinking going on, what you could do, can't do. God forbid nothing happened. Now, there's been times where the last time it was in Vancouver with Nickelback, last show of the run, we get a call, hey, you need to grab – one of our clients is the Zappa family. So Frank is Gail Zappa. My CEO grew up with the family. Well, we watched the kids, Amit, Dweez, like all them. So we get a call from Amit that, hey, one of my associates is stuck in Las Vegas, barricaded during the shooting. So while I'm getting off stage at Nickelback, I get this call. I'm like, okay, I got to call my guys in Vegas. We had to send 2 guys armed in the middle of all this chaos through the city, navigating with the law enforcement, grab her and bring her to a safe house right outside the area until she got picked up. And that was kind of crazy because I wasn't there. And I always feel like I'm never doing enough if you're not there.
Yeah, but I would feel that way too.
That stuff it's always, there's times in Mexico City where I'm with a client in an Uber and we've been pulled over by local police. We've been asked to get out of the car with their guns drawn and stuff where if I didn't have my training or my badge from the Secret Service, like able to talk my way out of this and be like, have this guy realize, hey, you're messing with the wrong person. You'd be kind of screwed over. It's like a lot of times it's miscommunication. It turned out that cop was being kind of a dick, but he ended up knowing the Uber driver. They were like, okay, cool. Like, put your guns away. I'm like, oh, thanks, guys. So you're always cognizant of that happening. We're in a day and age now with riots, protesters on either side. You're in a public space. Like you can't trust anyone, man. No.
Yeah. Tell us about, I know this is not a political show at all, but I'd like to hear, you mentioned Secret Service. I'd like to hear just a little bit about it. Just a little bit. Is that okay, Eric?
Yeah,
is that okay,
Eric? Yeah.
It was funny. I was actually on a podcast earlier today talking about it. And I was asked, like, when there's a transition to power, whether it's whatever, not even talking about what's happening now, but whenever it's time for a new president to come in or whatever,
right?
Is the Secret Service political in any sense? Well, we're not. Like, there's no politics. Right. We can't have bumper stickers on our cars. We're there for the job. We take the bullet for who the man or woman that we're protecting, the staff, whoever is on our detail. We don't care about politics. Right. And so, that was great. I did that for about 7.5 years. And the last year, in 2012, I was home 30 days that year.
Oh, wow.
And jumping around from Mitt Romney to Barack Obama. Like, you'd fly in a C-17 or C-5 with the beast of the motorcade. You're not sure what city you're in. And you're kind of like, man, like, this is so numbing. Now, I love the job. I love it. Yeah. I do think it's a difficult job they're in now. All law enforcement in general, obviously, with everything going on. But hearing them there, like, there's a lot of morale. I know there's been a lot of issues with people throwing stuff at the White House and crazy stuff that I think the media tends to want to embellish and really make it seem like everyone's attacking the White House, like whatever. And it's one of those things where that stuff happened with Obama, it happened with Reagan, it happened with Clinton, different types of attacks, bomb threats and stuff. But it's just because the one person in the White House now might think differently or be different than what you expect. The Secret Service doesn't change.
Right.
They adapt to the times, and you just got to go with it.
Yeah. I mean, that stuff's always been going on. It doesn't matter
100%.
like you said, no matter who's in the White House, that stuff has always been going on. So.
Right. I just think that for me, like the media now is like, it's just, they just try and go after certain aspects of that. It's like these men and women, like I think it was a couple months ago when they did like the pepper bullets or the state, or the Capitol Police and Park Police right outside the White House in the north fence line. And it's like, you don't the media's not showing that protester throwing a Molotov at the cops,
right?
Or punching their horse. Right. And
exactly.
you're kind of like, let's show both sides of here, because these men and women are going through a shit ton of stress right now on top of a job that they don't need the fire on that gasoline.
Man, God bless them, man. I saw a little bit of it this weekend.
There is, let's see. So if you are, depending on where you're at, whether it's a foreign country or the U.S., we kind of touched on this a few minutes ago, but are there any major issues that you've had with local security, wherever that means for you at that venue, with local security just not wanting to agree with what you're trying to get?
Yeah, so no, it's a very good point. Like Germany, some places in Belgium, they're very stubborn. Like it's the same guys that worked at. These are the same guys that worked at Dortmund when Rammstein was a club band, and they're so stuck in their way. I'm gonna start this way. So you do all the advances you can. Now I've got to know a bunch of supervisors and promoters there where they understand what you're trying to do. Like let's try and work together. But that language barrier and that stubbornness sometimes is just like, man, this is like you're too set in your ways. That can be a good and bad thing. Fortunately for us, we've never had an issue per se, but there is always that off chance where the language barrier is an issue. Sometimes like France and stuff. Belgium's a little bit different because last time we've been through every time there's been like that whole issue with Merkel and letting in these Syrian refugees and stuff. And so it's always been this unrest. And so we've had military at the show, and they've been great. They kind of help with like hey, we know what you need, we'll get this done. So having people like that in some countries has been beneficial as well.
That's nice,
good.
South America, we have to have armed translators, great guys who understand the lingo, where to stay out of, how to deal with local people that could be corrupt. They have your back 100%. So you have to work with people like that. That's just great.
Man, I think that would be the craziest part of your job is, I mean, it's one thing being here and going from venue to venue and trying to figure out the security, but generally it's the same.
100%. It's Live Nation or AEG. Like
but then you travel to 7 different countries in 1 year, and they all have the opposite of what you're used to doing. It's just
it's different protocols. An EMT call might be different in Sydney, Australia, than it is in Brussels, or it might be different than it is in New Jersey. So I have a core plan I want to place, and I need that implemented the best way possible because I know what my guys need or crew needs. God forbid something happens. And I mean, a lot of people laugh, well, why do you have the EMTs there so early for loaded? Well, the first time I was in Salt Lake City, we had a woman die on the loading dock at 7:30 in the morning. She had a heart attack and a case fell on her, and we're doing chest compressions at 7:30 in the morning. And stuff like that, you're always kind of, again, it all goes back to being planned and ready. But in some countries where that could happen, they're just like, okay. Okay.
Now, when you're going over to different countries, do you get to take everything you need, or do you have to be like, hey, we're going to need?
Yeah. I mean, I have my specific road case that has all my tactical gear, whether it's flashlight, like stuff like that, my pat, like all that stuff. I don't fly overseas armed for obvious reasons, a lot of paperwork, and you don't want to get caught up in a situation where, like the States, you could go from Virginia, but the minute you cross D.C., if you have a firearm, it's like going to California, Massachusetts, like the gun law. Like, it's not worth the headache.
No.
That's why you advance with the police and you get stuff like that way to lawful means. So anything I ever need over there, the only times I really request extra armed security and stuff like that is probably South America or South Africa, in the sense of just, hey, I need my 2 dedicated guys that I know. They're bilingual. They're armed. They're legally authorized to carry, and no one's going to mess with us or with them. So yeah, I never go over these places like Atlanta. I always have what I need to be.
So is there any place that you would not go?
No, I've basically been, I've been on the Gaza Strip. I've been Bethlehem, Israel, Jakarta, India. I've been everywhere. I've been to every state multiple times. And remember when the Facebook or social media spoke those stupid maps a couple years ago where it's like, oh, you've been to this country? Like, I think I've been to like 78% of the world.
Wow.
So I'm forever grateful to that. I've never been to Iceland, and that's what I want to go to. But in terms of if I could pick where not to go, obviously North Korea or China.
Right, yeah.
For obvious reasons. But Russia is a great country.
Very cool. So, do you get to actually watch any of these shows? Do you not like off duty?
So when it comes to showtime, I hear all the music, but I'm not listening to it, if that makes sense. I know how the set's going to go because we have pyro and certain concussion calls, a flow of show that if I hear something or see something that doesn't seem right, it's probably not right. And so I'm able to kind of adjust to that, whether it's microphone issues or power issues or the guy that our singer sees someone in the crowd and he stops the show to take care of it. So it's pretty.
One of the main reasons why we wanted to have you on here is because we deal a lot with talking to rock stars and doing all that stuff. But the thing that I think people don't understand is how much effort it takes to put on a show. How many things are going on behind the scenes, and your job is one of those things. And I think it's a major job because you're trying to make not only the artists and your crew safe, but people in general. You want everybody to have a safe, fun time. And I think that a lot of the times we get mixed up with, whoever it is on stage that's doing their show, and that's awesome. But we really wanted to bring to light, especially right now, but it's been something on my mind for a while is how do the wheels turn behind the scenes? How does all of this work? And I think that's kind of what we're understanding is there's a lot to process in just one show. And you're talking, you do whatever the number is, but 150 shows a year when we can. Let's say that number. I mean, that's a lot of shows to process and to figure out and to calculate. So that's awesome. I mean,
and I will say that I listened to your Ray from Korn. You're talking with him. It was fucking awesome. And he's such a good guy too.
Yeah, he is.
So it was kind of cool. But anyway, that was cool. There is a ton that goes into it, and that's the importance of the proper advancing. But when it comes to rehearsals, sure, it's for the band. If we have certain cues, just work out the set list with concussion, pyro, and stuff, that safety issues, but that's also there for the crew. And you meet a new crew if you got the core crew back, but you got new pyro guys, you got new lighting guys, so you all have to kind of gel together. And not everyone gets along per se, but you want everyone to get along when it's showtime. Like, you have to have each other's backs. You can't have any issues because everyone's, like you said, everyone shows up to the 3-hour show indoors and, last song 11, okay, everyone out. Well, that crew that put that show on was there at 6 that morning, and now they're loading out till 3 a.m. and we're going to do it again tomorrow. And it's like that Jackson Brown song, Stay. Like, it's very, as corny as that is, but until I became part of this industry, I didn't realize the amount of work these men and women do on a daily basis. And for you guys to bring light to that, it's badass, and what they're going through now, or what we are going through now with COVID and stuff.
And we've been in bands. We're still in bands. We're still doing that stuff, and it does. We see this on a daily. Even with this show, there's a lot of prep and stuff like that. So we got to thinking, and that was the end result. It's like, man, there's so much that people don't understand, because we kept having conversations with people, and they're like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, well, you're going to. So.
Right. It's like, even if you're an upcoming band, like, people like, oh, you get to the show, oh, this is great. Well, you still had to have if it's an 8-hour drive, you each have to drive 3 hours. Probably one of you guys is a merch guy. If there's a car breaks down, you guys switch. Like, so as you guys work together, I'm not saying you guys, I'm saying in general, there's so much that goes in from the ground up that I think people need to start really appreciating. And when COVID happened, when COVID happened, the first thing to go was the entertainment industry. Now, sports coming back, but I guess fans are getting kicked out, whatever. But the last thing to come back is the entertainment industry. You have Broadway in New York City shut down until next June. Cirque du Soleil, all these big productions that are doing shit right now. And I'm fortunate to be on the road with Smith & Myers doing the drive-in stuff.
Yeah, that's awesome.
We actually got 3 indoor shows coming up in December that Oklahoma, at the Diamond Ballroom, Soul Kitchen, Alabama, and somewhere else where it's like these are full capacity shows. You got to do proper advancing. Where's the signage, the social distancing, masks? Are we doing temperature checks? What's the protocol if there's a temperature hit? Like how are we? So it's an added level right now. But to be out there in the middle of it, like I take solace in the fact that if I'm out here right now, like if I could somehow be a small part of the solution here, I'm going to do what I can. And it's just great to see people enjoy.
Well, and we've been watching some of these live streams, and thank God for the live streams that these bands are putting on and that. But man, dude,
that Corey Taylor one was pretty cool.
Trivium had a really good one too. I think that.
Yeah, I think Avatar has one coming out, and I'm looking forward to. So it's cool.
I think everybody's getting on that bandwagon, but I need concerts back. They need to come back. I was listening to or watching a live stream the other day, and I'm like, this is cool, and I appreciate them doing this, but this is not what I need.
Right, and like when I go to a concert, like I'm so dumb to it now, where like I want to stay away from it, but. Like growing up, like having a drunk guy knock a beer on you, or see a couple not fight, but get into like a name call. Like there's parts of it where it adds to the event of the show. And so it's like the tailgate before, or trying to grab that pick if the singer said throwing you a pick there's stuff like that these live streams really can't do. And I think there's that one part of the soul that these people, fans, are starving to hear. I mean, it's gonna heal you.
It's more about the experience than it is about the show.
Oh, right. The drive there, listening to the
buying
songs,
the ticket 2 months in advance, or whenever it releases. Whether it's a venue or whether it's a festival. Festivals, I think, even more because you're seeing 30 bands instead of 2. And just getting back to. You're right. You said it's healing. Music has been and will forever be a healing part of our beings. And I think whether anybody likes it or not, they're going to have to come back quickly, and they're going to have to figure out a way. Now, my question, I just was thinking about this, and there are several different things that you've done so far. So you're doing regular, I don't want to say regular, but just venues like Exit In. You do arenas. And now we're doing drive-ins, right?
Drive-ins.
And potentially live streaming. But security is different for every single one of those shows. Yeah, no, the drive-in thing was interesting. Our first show was in Philly, in between the ballparks. And great, like 700 cars, 6 people a car. Like, it was nuts. And there was some sort of trepidation. It was one of the first ones. I think AJR, the band, and Bert Kreischer was one of the first artists, like comedians, to do the drive-in stuff. And we do the show, and we're kind of like, I think people were kind of like not nervous, but like, oh, we can be able to sit in our cars here, but there's some sort of like what is this the new normal? But no, they've been great. And the big thing for there is my first concern was, well, you have all these cars pull in. Well, these are all VVIDs. Like, there could be a car bomb literally in this trunk with a propane tank, a bag of fertilizer, and an accelerant. And you're kind of like, well, what do you mean search for? I go, we got to look for this stuff. Like, we need to properly search for this. Like, and here's the other thing, too. Drinking and driving. I hate it. If I see someone drunk, I make sure they have a ride home, whether it's Uber or whatever. But I need staff and law enforcement to make sure that there's no one that's been drinking the last 3 hours, because you can drink at these shows, aren't getting in their car and driving home. Because what's the point of – and there's kind of like that visual. It's like, well, they can do the same thing if they're in the venue in an arena. No, I get that, but they're literally drinking inside their car. Where if they were anywhere else, you write them a ticket. Man, that's
right.
So – but we've had no issues, though.
I didn't even think about that part, because you have that, because it's
Oh, like how far are the cars parked from the stage? Exit, people driving in and out. Like now you're going to deal with people getting run over with people leaving, or now you have to socially distance with people outside their cars with moving. It's just we've been fortunate to work with great staff. And crew,
have you had any issues with? I know you've done a few, but have you issues with being able to do what you need to do?
No, they've all been great. I think it's a learning thing for everyone. And again, I'm not asking for anything that's outside the normal. I do think I tend to bring up questions or concerns that they might not think about. And that's just because I've done so many of these driving shows now that I know what to look for. And so I'll have counterparts reach out to me with artists that are doing stuff in the spring now, these type of driving shows based on whatever COVID numbers. And they'd be like, hey, how do you do this? Like, what are you looking for here? Like, what's this issue here? And so talking to counterparts and other people about it is one part of the process of moving forward. And if this has to be the normal for right now, I'm okay with it. We can be safe, we can be smart, but like you said, there is something about being in that. Man, I remember when I was growing through high school, I went to my first non-point show, and I got kind of sucked into like this mosh pit. I'm just like, man, what the hell is going on? But like, that's part of it. I think people miss that.
And that's the bottom line, man. It's just something that you can look forward to. You can see your band in action. You can hear that banter and that the band has.
They're at the merch booth after, or they're doing a meet and greet,
and that's that's what we miss too. It's one of those things where we may not be like a Shinedown level, but there's still shows that we get to do for us, just as an outlet and things like that. And it's weird, man. It's freaking weird, and it needs to stop. I don't like it. So
no, as long as people are smart, I think there's stuff behind the scenes now where it's kind of people are playing together moving forward, definitely after the new year. But it's one of those things too at the beginning, like you guys, I'm like, well, we do the 15 or the 2 weeks, whatever, to slow this curve. We're still in it. So like, I get it that we don't really know what's going on. I support the scientists. I get it. I love them. But at what point do we start coming up with solutions as opposed to let's keep delaying?
Right.
Because you're delaying the human spirit now, and with arts and stuff not there, that's an outlet for people that are already depressed or have mental health issues or suicidal, and you're taking that away from them. It just exacerbates, which statistically, domestic violence, alcoholism, and suicide is way up this year now because of COVID. So it just adds to it.
Well, they did just come out with a couple of vaccines. It looks like it's 90 and 95%. So hopefully those come through. We'll see.
But then the recovery rate though is what, 98.7 whatever. So it's like the recovery is actually better than the so it's just I'm so sick of numbers. Right. I don't know who to believe. I just wish there was like a thing where I don't care if you're on the right or left. Let's work together to figure this out.
It's exactly. I don't know, man. It's all chaos, but we'll all get through it. It'll be fine. We'll come back and we'll start having shows. But for now, this is what we have to do. So, have you done any live streaming shows with anybody yet?
I have not. No, I've watched them, but none of my guys are doing the live stream stuff.
Because I feel like, I guess it would kind of be the same.
Yeah, I mean, you would still, if you're like the Corey Taylor thing at the Hollywood Arena or Bowl, wherever you did it, you still have to properly advance. You still need to make sure people aren't coming in there. Like, there's pyro, there's a full crew.
Right.
While there's no fans per se, you still have to protect that entity of the venue because you have a multi-million-dollar client that's still doing a thing.
So. Yeah, you have like 5 or 6 different forms of protocol, depending on, probably even more than that, depending on what venue and what country you're going to.
Yeah, no, 100%. You have to always. The other thing too, like I'm always learning. I'm always taking notes. If I haven't been to a venue yet, and I know a friend was just there, I'll reach out. Hey, what happened here? Like I'll bounce some questions off, and I expect to say it back to me.
Yeah,
that's one way to kind of learn from it. I know growing up, I'm like, oh, I got to go to Red Rocks. I got to go to the Gorge in Washington. Like, I got. But I tell you what, like, Red Rocks is great to go see a show, but loading in is such a bitch. It's so difficult for the crew that because you have to push everything up this crazy ramps. And I feel bad for the crew and stage people. I mean, they're pros, but a lot of times you're like, man, I want to do this venue. And it's like, you got to put some work into it.
Man, I imagine
it
so.
brings me to another. I've done a couple shows now. I've been to a couple shows, and they've been in caves. Yeah.
Oh, the Kentucky one too, right? Was it
Blackstone Cherry? That seems like a worst case.
Yeah, I mean, God forbid that thing collapsed, or like I'm not sure. Now, I think it's pretty safe, but for my own sake, I'd want to talk to a guy that has maybe done some EKGs in this cave. Like, what's the decibel unit that could maybe crack some rocks? Like, stuff like that where I'm not worried, but I want to know, because if it does happen, or there is, God forbid, a 3.2 earthquake that day, which has been in that area, you're going to want to not be in that cave.
Right.
But man, stuff like that's cool, man. Like, you hear about those New York City raves and old abandoned subway tunnels, and it's like, I'm all for the good time and cool, but if something were to go bad, like, you're not gonna. It's crazy.
And that brings you another point. Is there a venue that you would suggest to these?
No. I mean, I've done stuff in castles.
Oh, cool.
Oh wow.
Yeah, like Clam Castle, and then there's one in Romania. It's the same structure.
I bet Romania was cool.
No, I love Romania. But I'm trying to think if there's ever. Yeah, I really don't think so. I mean, there's just nothing really out there that I'd be curious to get that. Hey, we're going to this venue. I want myself to step back and be like, wait, what? Like, what are we doing? But I don't think there really is anything out there right now where I'm kind of like, I mean, are there places where I'm pro-life? Now, I have a clause in my own heart and whatever, like, for whatever reason, I'm not going to work with a client that's going to support Planned Parenthood, or, hey, we're going to do a fundraiser for Planned Parenthood. I can afford, and my own, like, whatever. Hey, I'm not going to be with that type of client. I'm not going to do that show. No, I'm not with clients that do those type of. Hey, it could be NRA. It could be it could be one of those type of ultra left or ultra right things where very neutral to whatever. So there might be specific events per se, or like, hey, we're doing this. Like, I get a call. Like, a couple years ago, I got a call for David Duke, the KKK guy. He was running for an office, I think, or something crazy where they're looking for security. And I'm like, hey, man, I appreciate the call. Not to say that you're a racist, but I don't really. This isn't for me. We've got calls for Planned Parenthood too, where, hey, we're having issues with protesters, and would you? Absolutely not. Like, thank you for the call. I can recommend someone, but I'm not here to. There's certain stuff in my heart that I'm not going to endorse.
That's good.
And
you stand strong.
Racism and homophobia, like stuff like that. It's like there's no place for it, and I'm not going to support anyone or anything that wants me to help be a part of that. To secure that type of thing.
So you said, like,
that's
they would call you, these people would call you. What's the difference? But if there's like a protest, what's the difference in why wouldn't they just call the police and have them take care of it? They just.
Well, what we've noticed is that these defund the police protests, most of them actually do call the police, which is the irony, but certain groups will want private security, or if they have one of their higher-ups walking or marching in these safe protests. So why do you need security in your safe protest if it's going to be? So there's a lot of hypocrisy in all of it.
Why do you need security if you're wanting to defund the police?
Well, that's the irony of it. One of my good friends here is works state police and works for the FBI in New England area, and he goes, they've got more calls for security and motorcade help for anti-police marches that need security for. The first people they call are 911. Like, look at Melissa Milano. She's always defund the police. She sees a guy with a squirt gun or a BB gun in the neighbor's yard. She calls 911 because there's a guy. So you can't have it both ways.
No.
So there's a ton of hypocrisy in all that.
Well, so we're at the part of the show where we've actually we've talked about a lot of stuff, and it's most of it's a little serious, but at the same time we're having fun. Do you want to play a game?
Right.
Okay. This game is it's called Would You Rather. It's all the rage. All the kids are doing it on ROCKCAST.
Yep.
So this is I've got 3 questions for you, And I think at least one of them kind of pertains to your skill set. And we're going to start off with that one because I think I'm excited to hear this answer. So, would you rather be hunted by Jason Bourne or by Jack Bauer?
Oh, damn it. Would I rather be hunted
not hugged. Hunted.
Now, yeah, either one is good. I would, based on their characters right now in their prime, I would rather be hunted by Jack Bauer because he's older, and I think my stamina could go a little bit further. Okay. I could create more time and distance. The thing about Bourne is like he's too like programmed to kill. I don't know.
This is.
I dig this answer. This is good.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where I think you're screwed either way. Yeah, I mean, I would rather get hunted.
I thought it was. I thought it was going to be Jason Bourne. That's what I thought, but.
Yeah, the thing with Jason Bourne though, like I know a bunch of those stunt guys that worked with him and stuff like that, hand to hand and training. I mean, now we're talking like fictional versus real, but if I'm going against a character based on what he's trained, I would not want to get into all that clinching and grabbing and arm breaking. I'd rather just get away. Where Kiefer Sutherland, Jack Bauer's pistol whip you, knock you out, twist tie you, and get any information he wants out of you through whatever means possible. So I tend to think I can get up a mountain quicker than Jack Bauer, thus proving my
fair enough
likelihood of surviving.
It's interesting. That's actually a good point too.
I don't know who you are. I have a particular set of skills.
Yeah, if we're talking Liam Neeson now, it's
maybe I should expand on that one a little bit next time. Would you rather travel anywhere in the universe at the speed of light or be able to read minds?
Is this a one-time thing?
Once you do it, this is what you're doing now.
I'm going to do travel speed of sound just because if I want to see a sunset somewhere or be part of an event or something, I can see it. Me reading minds, I would rather trust my intuition and getting to know someone to kind of figure out what they are thinking and hoping they're not talking shit in their mind to me. But yeah, there's certain events, whether it's birthdays or weddings, that man, I can't work. But if I go there split second, be there, or see a sunset, or visit a friend, like I'm all into that. I don't care what people think about me.
That's the same thing. Really like I would.
I don't want to know.
People have dirty minds.
Yeah, like you don't know what I'm thinking about you right now with your beard.
You'll know me later. Set up on my OnlyFans.
Look at that. Look at those lip piercings.
Oh,
I wonder if he's on Tinder.
Yeah.
All right, last one. Would you rather know everything but die tomorrow, or live forever but be ignored?
I forget where I saw recently. They mentioned this quote, and it was like, "You die twice. Once when you die from the earth, and then once the last time someone mentions your name is when you die again." And I don't know if I'd rather. Man, that's tough. Like, because when I heard that time, it got me thinking. Like, if no one knows who I am, how do I judge my success? But am I judging my success on what people think of me or who knows my name? If I can go to bed every night knowing I made a difference in my life or someone else's, I don't need the acknowledgement of someone to tell me, hey, you did a great job or whatever. I love hearing it, and it means the world to me. So for that reason alone, I'm okay with people not knowing who I am.
Well, but I think that every night that you come out okay, I think that made a difference in someone else's life.
No, 100%. So someone that could be listening to this, or people you meet in the store, or like when people put these masks on, we lost a sense of humanity. And it's like, I remember back in March, you go to the grocery store, like people you even do, like they weren't looking at you, you didn't want to say hi. And now it's just like, man, we lost empathy and humanity. And no one has to know who I am.
Right.
If they can know my actions and what I did, but they can be like, who was that guy? Who cares? He said hello to me.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
They were, man. That's why I always love doing these, because you just never know. You never know what the answer is going to be. We've had some pretty random answers.
What was the Red Light King? How'd that one go? I haven't watched that yet with Kaz.
It was good. It was good. Yeah.
Awesome
I think he
guy, by the way.
Yeah, he had a good time. So
yeah,
Kaz we know
awesome.
him back from our radio days, like 6 or 7 years ago. So it was nice to be able to kind of rekindle that conversation and get back in with that. And we've got some really good music coming out too that we're really excited about. It should be.
I have a question for you guys. What was there a fear of leaving or whatever? I don't know the history of the radio station stuff, but what's been your biggest fear and kind of thing from going from the radio to doing your own type of podcast thing right now, which you're doing with the ROCKCAST?
Right. Well, I think for me and Parker, we're going to give you a chance too here because you're awesome, I guess. And I'm not a dick. I'm trying
like really good looking, like awesome.
There you go, buddy. I think for us, really, the most recent radio experience wasn't horrible, but it was very one-sided and not on our side.
Right.
It was much like radio. You have you have this narrow path that you have to go down, and you can't really do anything else. You essentially these days, if you're on air on a radio station, you are just a paid voice. That's all you are. There is.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. You're a babysitter.
Play these songs this time and announce these sponsors.
And if we,
they're already popped in there. There's no songs that you pick. They're in, and it's chosen by one person. And it's chosen by an opinion of one person. And I get it. I mean, program directors are program directors, but at some point, the people, the audience, it's like voting. I mean, they should have a say or a voice in it somewhere. And then you have the labels. That's a whole nother thing. Well, so
go ahead.
A lot of
politics that go into
and I think that's too one of the things we were talking to Kaz about is, we would play his music as much as we possibly could, and we'd get in trouble for it. But when you get calls, for us, it was just good music. We wanted to play good music. We didn't want to play Metallica or Led Zeppelin or all these other older bands all the time. Nothing wrong.
Well, that's because it already played like 500
Nothing wrong with those bands at all. We love those. But the problem was is that we didn't get to do what we thought we should be able to get to do. We wanted to pick the music. Is the short version of this, and we weren't allowed
what your day is going to be for the listener, because you're the pulse of the listener.
And even when we would get calls, we'd get 10 or 15 calls about one song in an hour, we still couldn't play it unless it was on this list. If we were over the hour, we could delete songs.
That's crazy.
If we were under the hour, we had to add a song. These are the only songs that you can add. That's it. So we just really, to answer your question in a short version, we're doing much better now than we were by far. So we're excited.
Yeah,
now, the only difference is, now we're building our fan base. Now we're trying to make that stuff happen. And it's a slow process. It's a long-term process. It's not an overnight thing. We're not going to be rock stars tomorrow.
Right.
Something to where they had established all of that stuff. So when we put something out on air on social, we'd get 100 replies. We'd get a conversation going. And with what we do right now, not so much, because we're new. We're essentially infants in the game right now.
Right.
Not our first rodeo, but at the same time, this is a new new
I think you'll be more successful as you organically grow your audience.
Oh yeah, by far. Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
We're already seeing
and we have no desire to do anything other than that. We know we went into this knowing it's going to be for the long term. And so, when we started doing this, we really weren't sure what was going to happen, but we utilized all the contacts that we'd made over the last 6 or 7 years. And thankfully they all came through for us, or at least most of them came through for us. And most they in a big way. Yep. And so it's just something that we like to do. This is fun for us, man. We love talking to the tagline for the show, man, is conversations with rock stars. And that's exactly what it is. We're just having a conversation, and that's all.
I'll send a couple your way that I think would have fun with you guys. And you guys are really good personality wise, and you could tell that you care about what you're doing.
It's fun. Yeah, seriously. It's so fun. And, Parker and I, this is, if we could do this for the rest of our lives, this is what we would do. And just like we probably will be, because there is no retirement plan.
And we were originally going to be doing it. So before COVID, I thought Eric would mention this, but before he was going there, I could see it. We were going to originally be in venues, and we were going to partner with some venues locally, and we had it all kind of arranged, and then COVID hit. So we were kind of like, dang, what are we going to do? So we ended up building these sets, and we have these sets now, and it's worked out fantastic, and it's been really cool. It's been a good run.
And people are starting to take notice. And in the listening side and in the artist side, it's just one of those things that it's just pretty cool that people think it's like a new band when they get that first big show or signed deal or something like that. For us, it's like people dig what we're doing, and we just went into this for fun. I mean, COVID hit, we're like, well, let's just see what happens, and so far, man, it's been amazing. So we appreciate that we get the opportunity to do things.
Yeah,
like
that's awesome, man. No, you guys are doing great.
It's fun. All right, well, man, Parker, do you have anything else? I
don't, man. I just appreciate you.
Yeah, man. And again, I'll a good time. Whatever you need for me to put on all our socials, from Twitter to Parler to whatever God knows is out there, and I'll be sure to talk to all the bands and guys I know. I think we have fun with you guys.
That'd be. Yeah. Everybody right now, give everybody a little bit of where you're at online.
On Instagram, it's at John Silverspear. On Twitter, it's at Silverspear44. And the Facebook I really don't use. It's more for personal. But you can find me on there, JM Guarnieri.
Yep.
I usually just keep that just to keep family and stuff. It's got way too political on both sides. It's just bullshit.
Same here.
But yeah, I'm on LinkedIn, Parler. Like, I'm everywhere where I'm kind of like you guys. I started my own kind of security podcast, so like you gotta kind of navigate that realm of.
I wanted to talk about that. Can we?
Yeah, I saw that.
We got to talk about that. We got to take 5 minutes and talk about that, because I was looking at this stuff, man, and it looks like you've got a lot of interesting topics and a lot of interesting people that are coming on that.
Yeah, so I started that again like March out of boredom. Because like, what am I going to do if we're not touring? Like, I want to keep learning. I want to keep interacting with people. Yeah. So it started off with a bunch of friends, but now, I mean, I got some guests coming up now that have wrote like New York Times bestseller books and been in Academy Award-winning movies and stuff where I'm just like, this is really cool because it's obviously security related, and so all the guests either have a connection with law enforcement or experts in domestic violence, human trafficking, wildlife conservation, or an actor that has played a police kind of character that's a law officer or a bad guy. And, I mean, I'll let you guys know, one of the big guests coming up is Eric Stolhansky, who played Rabbit in Super Troopers. What? And so, good friend of mine, so he's coming in 2021, and we're going to do that. So there's always guests like that where I'm always kind of reaching out. I got some cool stuff coming with a couple of Shinedown Nickelback guys with special guests from UFC. So, yeah, man, it's just like you guys, it's just kind of finding that niche and kind of doing whatever. I got a great kind of parent company, the Dean Blundell Network, which I can actually put you guys in touch with. But they're based in Canada. They have a built-in audience of over 500,000 people. And I go over Amazon, Instagram, Spotify. I'm on every streaming service. YouTube is off the chain right now. And it just helps to have someone like that parent kind of like always pushing your stuff out or, hey, check this out. And it just helps.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's topics that people might not necessarily know a lot about. Like, that's why I'm doing it. But it's just it's fascinating. It's fun, and kind of lets me do what you guys do, learn, but stay creative.
Exactly. Yeah, and again, that's why we wanted you to come on the show. You're a cool dude, but we really wanted to pick your brain and kind of understand again about what goes on behind the scenes in our world at a rock show or at a venue, type scenario, because there's a lot of things. We didn't even cover a third of what actually goes on.
Right.
So many things that happen during the process of just one single show. So we appreciate you giving us a glimpse into your world and kind
Anytime.
of understanding. But to go find him. He's everywhere. We'll put it down here in some sort of text form scenario. I'm the one that edits this, so I'm assuming I'm going to probably have to do that. I'm going to do that. Okay.
You're going to do it
right here in the.
Just put it right here.
Okay, we'll put it
right there. Yeah, right there.
It's going to be all messed up now. We don't have any idea.
Whatever, man. It works.
It's all.
Now I have a new podcast to follow, man. That's awesome.
That's right. That's right. We got a new friend and family in the podcasting world. So JM, thank you so much for coming on the show. We do appreciate that. Guys, go follow him. Go find out what he's doing. He's got a lot of good things going on. Again, he's got some good guests also that are coming up on his podcast. We don't normally promote other podcasts, but we have to do this. It's a really good idea. So go follow him. Go do all that stuff. If you want to know more about the show, go to rockcastshow.com. Find out all the good stuff. The good thing about this show is that you can watch and listen. We are everywhere that podcasts are available. Wherever you listen right now, go find it. If you want to watch the show, we're on it. So I don't know if that's a good idea, but you can go for it. Rockcastshow.com or YouTube, Rockcast Show. Find us there. Thanks, guys, so much for hanging out. JM, good to see you.
Thank you, guys.
We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.